Hey guys, welcome to another episode as I go thrifting. And starting off in a usual goodwill for me, and no, I don't care about Wayne Newton. But what I do care about is this wall lifetime music guarantee. Kids today will never know how useless this sticker was, or how many CD cases you will find it on. Half of my CD cases have it. So, moved over to the toy section because I always hope to find something cool and I never do, but I did find this old Hess patrol car. So, my dad was a cop, so this was obviously going to be one of my favorites growing up. Had all the lights, it had all the sounds, and you could just like push it, and it would go all the way across your kitchen floor. It had like great bearings to the wheels. Moving on, this caught my eye, because you never see like front plates for the Xbox 360 anymore, especially like unopened. And I know an Orioles fan who probably would have enjoyed to see this, but one thing that no one should be excited to see is ink. And, you know, ink might be a good deal if it wasn't 8 years expired. So, yeah, I think it's time we moved on to a new thrift stop that has opened up within the last couple months. And you can tell it's brand new just by how clean everything is. Everything is still organized, like even the floor is immaculate, everything's dusted. It's one of the cleaner thrift shops I've seen in all the thrifting I've really ever done in my area. So, I'm looking around and I come across this nutcracker, and they only catch my eye because my parents have like 50 of them in their attic still. They don't put them out anymore, but I grew up with nutcrackers, so I always like to see that. And this samurai looked kind of cool for $3, but the sword was broken. And once again, the toys. I always hope to find something kind of cool in the board games, but you never really do. So moving on to what we all come to see, and that is the electronics. And this is actually a pretty robust selection that they have going on in here. I was kind of impressed. I was even more impressed to see this DVD player. So yeah, a DVD player, big whoop. My parents still have this exact one in their basement. So for $8, stay away from this 20-year-old DVD player if you see it. It still works though, at least my parents' one does. So yeah, bunch of DDR pads, which always interest me, but I have nowhere to stash them. And honestly, I would probably never use them either, but it's still always kind of cool to see. And a decent selection of controllers. Granted, most of them were third-party PlayStation 2 controllers, but cool nonetheless. Especially when you come across a random third-party Saturn controller. And yeah, this is just something, once again, that you really never see. I don't even own a Saturn, but for $6, I thought to myself, yeah, you really can't go wrong there. So, as I'm looking around there, this weird computer one for Microsoft. You have another third-party PS2 controller because, you know, of course you do. So, I don't need any more of those in my life. And poor Peyton Hillis. You had one season where you're the next big thing, and then the Madden curse ruined your entire career. What wasted potential. But then I saw this thing, and I was like, this is kind of cool. Some weird controller, it's translucent, the D-pad looks like it's probably terrible, and it's a plug-and-play system. So plug-and-plays are interesting to me, but not enough at like $7. Someone else can give that a shot. So as I'm looking through here, and yeah, that's a lot of books. I don't like books. Books make me sleepy, but I can admire a nice little selection that they got going on over here. There were a few more electronics on this era, and I'm always still trying to find that new one, but I just know it's not going to happen. And once again, I struck out here trying to do it. Oh well, let's head over to the actual media, but first, of course this would catch my eye. Look at all this beer. Kind of a cool thing, but it's a framed puzzle, which is always nice and tacky, and for $8, I'm not that tacky enough to buy it for that price. So that Batman throw pillar was kind of cool. What we all want to see, hopefully there's some games in here. And it was an okay-ish selection of just stuff in general, but the game selection was unfortunately pretty weak. Like, there really wasn't even any PS1 games or sports titles, and there was random Xbox and 360 sports games, the occasional, DDR, which I guess is where the pads came from. But this caught my eye. Prince of Persia. The Two Thrones. I love the Sands of Time. So, no disc. $5, no disc. It's not, like, I probably could find the disc for like $2 and complete it, but it's not worth the hassle. So, yeah, random Harry Potter game, and then just a bunch of junk. So I did wind up getting that Saturn controller, and behind the desk they had a sealed Donkey Kong Returns for the 3DS, I think it is. So I picked that up. And moving on, 2nd Avenue. This is actually part of Value Village, but I guess in Philly they can't call it that for whatever reason. But look at the size of this friggin' place. It is gigantic. Like, words don't even truly describe it unless you're walking through. And looking behind the counter, I see Genesis games, and it's sports games, and I already have all these. So even the thrill of seeing random games, I had them. But just look at all these toys. Look at all these friggin' board games. Holy crap, if you're a board game fan, this is where you want to be. Or maybe if you like shoes. Tons of shoes for your wife and girlfriend. The electronics section was really, really cool, because there was just a little bit of everything in here, like actual PC computers, tons of TVs, tons of controllers and wires hanging up on the wall, and even on this side, this obviously caught my eye. It's a friggin' iPad, an original iPad at that. Like, I don't really like tablets. Like, I have a tablet, but everything I could do on my phone, and $30 for an old school iPad, like if it was a newer iPad, that would have been kind of cool, but I think this was like the Gen 1 16 gigabyte one, so for, yeah, $30, no thanks. Over here, I always have to take a look at the controllers, because maybe every once in a while you'll strike gold. Maybe I'll find some GameCube component cables, if I'm lucky. Or I could find what I always find, more third-party controllers. So I think that's... I don't even know what the hell this one was to be honest with you. I didn't take a good enough look at it. It might have been even Wii U. At first I thought it was like a 360 one, but judging by the stick layout, I don't know. Maybe I should have put a little more time into that. As I'm looking through everything, I noticed out of the corner of my eye something that I already kind of have in my collection. An at-Games Genesis console. Oh boy. So if you saw my video comparing all the versions of Street Fighter that I have, yeah, you know what at-Games gives you. So I don't have this model, but it's another AV model. This is actually kind of cool because it has stereo sound, which you normally don't see with these at-Games ones. So I guess that makes it a certain model, one of the newer ones, but yeah, last thing I need is another at-Games Genesis. But for $9, it's not the worst price in the world. It's also always cool to see a Sony Playstation in there. They had it really weirdly wrapped, and I couldn't even get around to seeing the price on it. I always like to see if there's a disc inside the system to maybe get lucky and make that worth buying it, but I already have like 3 PlayStation 1s, so it's something I didn't really need. Speaking of more stuff that I didn't really need, I went back on a different day, and where the iPad was now a couple consoles. $25 for a fat PS2, which, I mean, it probably didn't work, and $40 for an original Xbox. Holy crap. I mean, if you're going to buy one just to mod it, maybe it's worth taking a risk on. Yeah, to me, that's still a lot of money, but it's still cool to see consoles in this day and age. And, of course, we had to stop off over at the media section. And there was so much stuff here. Now, a lot of the stuff that was actually cool was stuff I already had. There's a lot of Call of Duties, random Halos, of course, a ton of sports games, as you're going to expect. For the selection, it really wasn't bad. And I went here a couple times, so I'll show you all my pickups at the end of the video. But the first time I was here was a major score, because they price all of these at $2 each. So if you're at a thrift store and you can find a complete, good condition Mario Kart Wii for $2, oh yeah, you buy that. And that does it. So here's all my pickups that I've had recently. All the, the DVD case games were $2 a piece, so I can't complain there. The controller was pretty cheap, and a sealed 3DS game for $15, I'll take it. So that might be the last one of these videos for a while, because lockdown is really cranking up again in the Philly area, so I don't really know when I'll be out thrifting again, but hopefully I can make another one of these soon. Thanks as always for watching, guys. Make sure to check the links below for our other thrifting videos, our video game reviews, and we are the home of the Power Hour podcast, which is also on Stitcher, iTunes, and Spotify. Until next time, guys, cheers.